I don't know how well this will go because I haven't practiced it, but I'll try. So recently we had the jam was classic novels, and a classic novel tends to be in book form. So let's make a book. And I'll make this one white because it's going to be a page. Okay. I think we'll angle these in slightly. Like that. Okay, move that over there. Right, so, and then you probably have like a thinner back piece, spine. That, and then I'll make the front of it white like that. So it looks like it's the pages. Beautiful. Okay, so then you probably want to joint this up. So let's use a bolt. We need to make sure this has a central point, so let's adjust that with the stretch tool. So let's make it one notch wider. There we go. What's going on? There we go. Yes, it's 4 wide, so we have a central point. That's cool. Right, let's get some things. So attach that, and we'll put that kind of down here. Use triangle while holding it to snap it to the grid, and we want it to be able to rotate in that direction from that point there. And we'll do the same for the others. And that one's on that one. And it doesn't really matter where these pink things are, just that they're oriented in the way you need them to be. And we'll turn on X-ray so we can see these when they get stuck inside of sculpts. So now we can rotate. Oh, if you turn the grid off, that will help. We can rotate these, but they kind of go through the thing and stuff. It's a nightmare. That's because these are like way higher. So when it gets too flat on that side, it's kind of way lower. But that won't matter because of the way we're gonna do some stuff. So we're gonna make it so that we can flip through these pages. And we're gonna put it on beats mode so we can have easy snap to points. So I'm just going to use L2 to kind of if we use the grid actually. No, that's not going to work. To kind of set that, and then I'll copy that and we'll set it to being on the other side. So first we'll get it rotated around like that. Cool, that's about right. And then we'll hold L1 and use R2 to move that up like that. So now, If we blend that and put it on real-time mode, you can see it still rotates around that central thing, but it's allowed to kind of disjoint itself so that it can kind of end up nice on that other side. And depending on how you set this up, it can be it can look better. So that's the first page, and then we want more of them, so I'm going to make a load of empty keyframes. I think I'll expand that out to there actually. And maybe I'll just do the first few pages. Can't remember how many pages I've got actually. We have 5 pages. What was I thinking? Okay, so I'll do the first 3 pages. So grab that one, and then use L1 and right to go to the next one on that line, or L1 and left to go between them. And we want to rotate that one around until it's flat, and hold L1 while moving it up, like that. Cool, and the third page, 1, 2, 3. Like that. Like that. So now, if we go into real-time mode and we just scrub through, we've got these pages that unfold like that. And I'll just move that color as if nothing ever happened. So we play time and they play through like that as normal. So that's cool. Now we're going to add some controls to decide where this is actually being shown. I don't know why that's showing so strangely. Boop. There we go. And so for that we're going to grab a controller sensor. We'll just put it onto a remote. And for this we can just use a counter. If I can find it, counter. And we have 3 pages, so we want it to have a maximum of 3. Yeah, that should work. And use R1 to go to the next page and L1 to go to the previous page. Right, so let's just check what that's doing. So play time, press R1 and it's increasing it, L1 and it's decreasing it. Now it has a count progress output here. So if we get a number displayer, we can find out what that looks like. So increasing it, decreasing it. So that is, if we set that to 4, it's actually the total value, or the current count, divided by the target value. So at 0, it's 0. At 1, it's 1 divided by 4, which is 0.25, and so on. Now, usefully, the timeline, you can plug stuff into the timeline, and if it's a value between 0 and 1, it'll set where that is in the playhead. So if we now go like that, it's skipping to those points on the timeline. Oh wait, it's kind of freaking out because it's set these to movable when we added the connectors. So now try that. cool, but it's kind of, we want it to kind of animate a bit nicer than that. Let's use a timer, and we will put it into positional mode. So positional mode, let's show what that does. Okay, so if we play time, then send it a signal of 1, it'll play until it gets to 100% of target time. And if you send it to 0, then it'll go back to 0% of the target time, which is 0 seconds. And if you set it to some particular number, then it will try and get to that point. So if you set it to 0.5, it will go up to 2.5 seconds. So if we put that into here, we're telling it the desired position on the timeline, but it will take a little bit of time to get there. So then we use the timer output, which is also just as with the counter progress. It works the same way. Where am I plugging it into? There. Okay, so now if I increase it, it's like going to the point we want and then stopping there. And so we will use that in the playhead, and now we play time. If I press R1, it plays until that point in the timeline, and so on. And we probably actually want that to go like that, and it to only go to 3. Page, and another page, and another page. And you can't go beyond that because the counter is full, and we go all the way back to 0, and it will keep animating till it gets back to 0. And you can adjust how fast that takes that entire timeline. So if we make it a bit shorter, then kind of get more of a nice page turning effect. So that's cool.